Teachers of Reddit, what is the worst parent conference you've ever had? Not quite a parent-teacher conference. But it was after I got my first self-lit phone long ago when they were just coming out. An 8th grader stole it. My wife called the phone and the guy who answered was dumb enough to give her his name. It was a parent who was using it. The kid confesses to taking it and the parents came in. Admin confronted the parents about it, explaining that we just wanted the phone back. The parents tore into the kid for confessing he took the phone and told him his birthday was cancelled for ratting on them. Yikes. Parents of the year. For sure. Sadly, this kid is following in the footsteps of his stellar family. How exactly is society supposed to help a kid who has been taught that lying, stealing, cheating, and getting punished for doing the right thing is okay? Makes you wonder if anyone can be blamed for being who they are. I was talking to the parent of a kindergarten student and telling her ways she could help her child at home. She suddenly said, "Do you get paid to do this?" I said. Yeah, she said. Well, I don't, then swiped all the papers off the table, stood up and walked out. I was like, ooh, okay then. I had to tell a well-known gang leader that his son was failing my class. Actually went better than expected. But the anticipation was a rig. I teach 7th grade. And the one that stands out to me was from my 2nd year in the classroom. Probably it sticks in my mind because I didn't feel confident in my job yet. So this interaction I had with a family threw me for a loop. Once, I had a struggling student come in with their family. And I was so eager to talk to his family. I was hoping that we could have some kind of constructive conversation that would lead to the kid's improvement in my class. I had pulled up their grades to explain why he had a D in my class and what he needed to work on to bring his grade up. Next thing I knew, the parents started completely berating the kid, calling him stupid and lazy, telling him that he was a failure. It was horrible. Even worse, the kid was on the autism spectrum. So he just really didn't have the kind of emotional stability to handle something like that. Heck, I don't know what 7th grader would be able to handle something like that. He started crying. And his parents apologized to me, and led him out into the hallway where they continued to berate him. It was rough. I tried to smooth things over by talking them through the kid's strengths. But they just wouldn't be deterred. The kid was sitting on the ground in the hallway just sobbing next to the lockers and his parents just left, presumably to go conference with more teachers. I tried to console the student. But I don't think there was much I could have done. He was just completely heartbroken. An unintended one: when an undergrad I was teaching requested a formal meeting with me, her mother, and the dean of the college at the university. She had received a 97% on an essay. And she and her mother were both in tears, demanding that I be reprimanded and retrained for unfair grading policies. I think my mouth was agape the entire time. What did the dean think of the situation? He read it and said she can accept a regrade from him. But a cursory glance said that the paper was C quality according to his standards. Parent was irate because I caught her 6th grade daughter cheating on a test. Parent said daughter was too stupid to cheat and kept calling her dumb and an idiot. The daughter was right next to her. Hearing her mother talk all this negative shit about her absolutely broke my heart. Once had a phone conference with a parent who accused me of forcing students to come to my house and build a garage for me. The parent said his son was being ostracized and punished by me for refusing to come to my house and work on my garage. The only thing I could do was laugh at him. I thought it was a prank and hung up on him. Next morning, I had to meet with my principal because the parent had called and threatened to call the local news media about my classroom if I wasn't immediately fired. The parent left screaming rant on my principal's voicemail. We listened to it a few times and got some good laughs. The parent claimed I was making the kids drive to my house during class, and if they didn't I was failing them. But his son had an A in the class and the drive to my house was longer than the class period. The parent was obviously nuts. But it had to be treated as credible. So, there was an investigation and there may even be a report about it in my personnel file. I've had other weird interactions with parents, but that one definitely takes the cake. Drugs? Schizophrenia? Any idea where he got that idea? Most parents are awesome and I enjoy visiting with them. A very small minority will try and verbally abuse you or bully you. Kids will twist words and incidents so they don't get into trouble. Some parents can't believe their angels can do anything wrong. I don't know why they believe that. I've ducked up as a kid and a young adult. My kid is no angel. That's not to say that teachers don't screw up and twist things either. Closed bracket. One time a child peed all over the bathroom in the school. When we brought it up with the parent, they demanded to know why we didn't teach them how to properly use the bathroom. My GF's mom is a teacher in a very poor, mostly racial minority area. She once had a child in 3rd grade, so was on the cusp of being tested for special needs, but basically was approached as being slow but no serious biological developmental issues. This child, on one disgusting occasion, ate his own feces. Yes. Ingested. On purpose. His own excrement. When brought up to the mother, the response was, "Well, he was hungry." An administrator in the room responded, then sent him with some crackers. The horror. I mean, it wasn't exactly a bad conference, but one time the mother of a 6-year-old 2nd grader was pushing for her son to skip 2nd grade and go to 3rd grade. I tried pointing out that even though his reading and math skills were excellent, advancing him further would create a gap in his knowledge about science and social studies. Not to mention the fact that he is very immature and socially sticks out. She kept on insisting that age was just a number. Finally, I turned to both the mother and father and asked, when he is a 15-year-old senior in high school, what 18-year-old woman is going to want to go to prom with him? Then dad was like, "Hol up. Wife just told me another one." The last conference of the day. The parent, a guy, started the meeting with saying, "Do you feel that? Do you feel nervous?" implying a connection and nervously laughing. My wife felt super uncomfortable because he seemed to be coming on to her and sharing personal details about his life. No matter what she said, "Okay. Have a nice night." He'd just start another conversation and keep trying to talk. She eventually had to just grab her stuff and basically leave for the day to get him to leave. Do you feel that? That's my total lack of interest. I'm a school psychologist, not a teacher. But we still have lots of parent conferences. Worst one, spent a good half an hour explaining that I was diagnosing her son with autism and why. Everyone agrees, including the parent. And we move into developing his IEP. 20 minutes into this we're talking about his behavior plan and she asks me, "I'm wondering, do you think he might have autism?" Edit. I do want to say that 98% of parents I work with are kind to school staff and very invested in their children. The stories in this conversation are the exceptions, not the norm. The one where a parent told me it was unreasonable to expect my sophomore history students to write a 5-paragraph essay. She claimed she had expertise as she used to be an English teacher. Honestly, though, I've been very lucky in my career to have never had a seriously bad parent-teacher conference. I had a parent-teacher conference where I basically got called a racist. The father was like, "Can't you see my son is not like other kids? Give him the benefit of the doubt," heavily indicating his race. This was after his son cheated on a test. The best part was the father was a vice principal at another school, but his son went to our expensive private school because he didn't want him in the public school he worked at. The kid eventually confessed. And to be 100% transparent, my school is incredibly diverse. He was far from the only kid there who was his race. Admin wasn't super supportive. They ended up fudging his grade to please the parents after I gave him the 0. They wanted me to do it but I refused. I told admin they can do whatever they want with the gradebook but I'm not touching it.